And welcome back to game 2 of our doubleheader between the Tampa Spartans and the Davenport Panthers. As you see, the first batter of the game retired very quickly to get things started off here after UT took the first game of this doubleheader by a score of 3-0. I'm Bruce Wozniak, back to call the action for you once again here at the Namoli Family Stadium, joined this time by Connor Moore as the Spartans going this time in the circle after the complete game by Corinne Miner in the opener. This time Mariah Galhouse gets the call in the circle.
Yeah, Spartans going with their typical 1-2 punch, Miner and Galhouse. Let's get to know our Spartan defense from left to right in the outfield. It's Profit, Miner, Chevalier. Across the diamond, Phillips, Balmer, Clawberg, Jansen. Catching for Galhouse is Maddie Farrell. Fastball in there for a strike.
And so 1-2 now here against Gabby Palazzolo. And a well-struck ball, a base hit. And so the Panthers have their first run of the game. And correction, it's Lexi Chevalier behind the plate. As I mentioned in the first game, Maddie Farrell not playing today with the knee heavily wrapped, as we saw her in shorts over by the Spartans dugout. And so Davenport with one out here in the top of the first, and this time to the plate Alexa Flores. And Flores, you recall from that first game, had the triple and they were unable to convert as she sends that one to left field, and nice catch made there by Emily Profit for out number 2.
Quick work thus far for Galhouse. Her demeanor in the circle apparent thus far. Key for Davenport, get out to an early start. They were held in check the first 7 innings here today.
And that one way outside for a ball. Galhouse comes in with a 1.02 earned run average, has thrown 34 in the third innings so far this season, a 3-2 1-loss record, 17 strikeouts, and impressively just 1 walk, as you see that one fouled down the first base side.
Flip-flopping the umpires, Steve Haney, the crew chief, calling balls and strike. We saw Ralph Rodriguez behind the plate for game 1. He's over at first.
And so the batter, Rachel Griffin, the first base player, with 2 away, a 1-1 count, and a runner advances to second, Palazzolo. So Rachel Griffin, a 2-1 count now, looking down at third base, her head coach Amber Bowman. And the pitch on the way outside for ball 3. Just past 6 p.m. here in Tampa. And that one is fouled out of play on the first base side. Our temperature now at 70 degrees on the nose.
Important at-bat, payoff pitch, top of the first inning. Galhouse looking to get out of trouble.
On its way, and that one will it score? The runner here's the play at the plate, and they try at second and do get her at second. So heads up play there by Chevalier behind the plate to get the out at second on the batter, Rachel Griffin. Some exciting play there. And so in the top of the first, the Panthers get their first run of the day. After having been shut out in game 1, they get 1 run on 2 hits. There were no Spartan errors. And we go to the bottom of the first with Davenport 1 and UT coming to bat.
For 42 minutes he's been trying to bring an entire stadium to its feet.
You missed it, buddy.
Why does he do it? For glory? Notoriety? We don't know. Frankly, we don't need to know. But much like this hero, Courtyard is all about the game.
1, 2, 3. Way! There's my guy. Yes. Go. Snacks. Yeah, man. Eat it up, and we're gonna burn it off doing the wave.
Back with you here to start the bottom of the first inning as the Spartans will go 1, 2, 3, Steph Ballmer, Christina Klauberg, and Corinne Miner. And going against the pitcher Taylor Simon. And Simon entering today's game with a 14.00 earned run average, a 0-1 one-loss record. She pitched just 3 innings, gave up 7 hits, 6 runs, all of them earned, walked 2.
Steph Ballmer batting .275 on the season, 2 runs batted in, 8 runs scored, 2 stolen bases.
And you see that already the pitcher Simon wanting to have a word. As the catcher Alexis Koza returns to her spot behind the dish. And pitch there for strike 1 against Steph Ballmer.
Ballmer recorded a hit in 6 of her last 7 games, squaring a bunt.
Nothing doing there. And so Ballmer behind early here, 0-2. And the pitch on the way, fouled down the third base side.
Simon, a sophomore from Buchanan, Michigan, previously played at Stevensville Lakeshore. Ahead on the Spartan leadoff hitter.
Pitch on the way and chopped down to short and not going to be fielded as it was mishandled by Brianna Allen.
It'll
and
go
so
down as an E6.
Ballmer on base. And that'll bring up Christina Klauberg, the second base player. And Klauberg lays down the bunt and sacrifices successfully, as moving over to second base is Steph Ballmer.
Gets the job done. Let's get to know the Panther defense out in the outfield, left to right. Crawford, Pauly, and Urban. Joined in the infield by O'Mara, Allen, Palazzolo, Griffin, and then Koza is catching for Simon.
And now Corinne Miner taking ball 1. An impressive first game by Corinne Miner, both in the pitching circle as well as at the plate. She drove in what eventually would hold up as the game-winning run.
Yeah, Corinne Miner is legitimate, already making a case for SSC Player of the Year, what she's been able to do in and out of the circle.
And
Chopper
bounces that one to short and over to first in time for out number 2. And as a result, the runner Ballmer has to hold at second.
It's a nice bounce back play for Allen over there at short. She juggled the first one, came her way. The backhand, routine throw, making it look easy over there at short.
So that'll bring up Mariah Galhouse, the pitcher. And first pitch gets away. And as a result, Ballmer over to third now. So Mariah Galhouse, 1-0 to her, and lashes that one to short, and again mishandled by Allen as the Spartans get the tying run across.
That pass ball played a huge effect there because Allen knows with the runner on third, I have to rush this play. Thought a little bit too long on that, bobbled it. Tough start to the bottom of the first inning for the Panther shortstop. Spartans benefit, 1-1 the score.
So 2 outs and a runner on first. Mariah Galhouse over there as Bailey Phillips, the third base player, batting here and smacks that one foul over towards the third base side.
We say over and over again on these broadcasts with how difficult hitting can be time and time again. You just have to put the ball in play, apply pressure, and then run hard to first base. Never know what may happen with the defense.
And I mentioned during the broadcast of the first game, impressive to see fan support here for the visiting Davenport Panthers, who are home based out of the state of Michigan.
Grand
cheering
Rapids
here.
traveling well, and you're right, Bruce. They have nice support on hand, as well as the Spartans. It's a neutral crowd here, about 50-50 each side.
1-2 the count against Bailey Phillips. And the pitch on the way up high for ball 2.
Great eye by Bailey. We've seen her at parts of the season swing at that eye level, able to lay off, presents a 2-2 count.
Simon's 2-2, and that one goes foul as well on the third base side. Taylor Simon, you see, just like Ellie Mullenberg in the opener, opting for the face mask in the pitching circle.
With how close up, I mean, I would too. I mean, anything hit your way on a button.
And there's a fly ball to center field, and ranging back and making the catch is Celine Pauly for out number 3. But not before the Spartans tie the game. And so at the end of 1, we are tied at 1 on TampaSpartans.tv.
Nowadays, more and more people are on the go. We are all busy with work and family. Clean Eats has a solution. At every Clean Eats location, we have grab-and-go coolers that are packed full of freshly made breakfast, lunch, and dinner meals. Whether you are a soccer mom, business person, athlete, or just someone that does not have time to prepare your own meals, Clean Eats has you covered. Our grab-and-go cooler will always have a wide selection of meals to satisfy you. Each to-go meal is priced under $7 to make our food very affordable. Be sure to stop and try a to-go meal. Clean Eats. It's a lifestyle.
Mariah Galhouse, the freshman pitcher from nearby Spring Hill, Florida, finishing her warm-up pitches in the circle here in Game 2 of this doubleheader between UT and the Davenport Panthers after the Spartans captured the opener by a score of 3-0, raising their overall record to 10-5.
Yeah, effective first inning for Galehouse, only 313 pitches. Did surrender that run, but I'm expecting throughout the remainder of this game for the pitchers to settle in, and the defenses will have to make some plays as we move along.
And Galhouse's first offering of the second inning is going to be outside for ball 1. And that one is slapped. No, stopped. And not going to be over in time for the out, but still a great play defensively as Steph Ballmer dove to keep that one from getting out of the infield. Just couldn't get over to first in time, and so the leadoff hitter is on board for the Panthers. And that was Alexis Koza, the catcher.
Ballmer showing off the range just to get to that up the middle. Koza beat it out, running hard. Trying to bunt. Chevalier gets to it, makes the throw on the wheel play as Clawberg, the second baseman, was covering.
And I'll tell you, for Brianna Allen, tough night for her. She had a couple of miscues in the first game. We saw her in the bottom of the first, not able to close things out. And although she does advance the runner there, she is the first out of the top of the second for Davenport. And now that one's going to sail to the backstop. And so the Panthers, who didn't score at all in the whole first game, all of a sudden with the game tied at 1, now find themselves with just one out and a runner over at third base in the person of Alexis Koza.
That'll draw the infield in. We saw Koza bobble one that got behind her in the bottom of the first. Spartans came around to score. That one's served foul out of play.
On top of the Davenport dugout.
But now, Bruce, with one out, if you're Amber Bowman, you coach for the Panthers, any idea of playing some small ball here? Try to maybe put something in the infield, charge Koza from third?
I wouldn't be surprised, especially knowing that Tampa is, and that one is high for a ball. Knowing that Tampa has an offense that, especially here at home, you've got to take advantage of any potential opportunity, such as what they have now, and especially there only being one out, as Galhouse winds, delivers the 2-1, swung on and missed. And so Jordan Urban, who we saw as a pinch runner in game one, a 2-2 count here with one out in the top of the second and a runner at third base.
Definitely expecting Urban choke up here, try to make contact, get the run batted in.
And fouls that one out of play. Urban stays alive. Haley O'Mara in the on-deck circle over there for the Panthers. And now Urban is ready. Steps back in against Mariah Galhouse, who delivers and gets the strikeout.
She gone, painting the inside corner. Galhouse with a big pitch there to retire Urban. Crucial out, because with two outs, that runner on third gives of less value if you're able to make a get-out pitch here in the inning.
A sigh of relief for Galhouse as she sends that one high. And a nice play by Chevalier to prevent that one from getting away against the batter Haley O'Mara.
Yeah, you said it. Chevalier saves a run there that gets behind her.
And worth noting, 5'7" Chevalier, that long reach of hers, that if Maddie Farrell was behind there only 5'4", you don't know if she would have been able to have the same reach. And so 1-1 now as Galhouse delivers and swung on and missed. So Haley O'Mara behind in the count, and the Panthers with that runner over at third. One strike away from leaving her stranded. And there it is. As a strikeout recorded, Haley O'Mara goes down as out number 3 to end the top of the second. So the Spartans dodge a bullet there as the Panthers, no runs on one hit and no Spartan errors. And there was one Davenport runner left on base through 1.5. Our score tied 1-1. Back live here at the Nemoli Family Stadium, the Spartans in Game 2 of a doubleheader against the Davenport Panthers, who have traveled down here from Michigan by way of Tennessee. They played 3 games to start their season up in Music City, and here they are taking on the Spartans, who are in a extended homestand. They'll remain home and play Eckerd at 6 o'clock on Friday before those two teams tangle in a doubleheader on Saturday afternoon. And now to start the bottom of the second, we just talked about her making that stop behind the plate in the top half of the inning. Alexis Chevalier, the catcher, and slaps that one foul down the third base line.
Yeah, take a moment to shout out Corinne Miner. We just heard that she was the player of the week in the Sunshine State last week. Well deserved. The presence of her in and out of the circle has magnified tremendously for this Spartan team. And she's the anchor But we're seeing contributions across the board. You mentioned what Chevalier has done. Versatile player. This team is interchangeable. She usually is in right field, but not afraid to get behind the plate. Still provide the offense at the dish. Let's see what she can do in the 0-2 count.
Pitch on the way and up high for ball one. And sends that one deep to left field and to the wall. And a well-hit ball by Chevalier as they'll hold her up at second. So a stand-up double for Lexi Chevalier to start the bottom of the second inning.
Chevalier entered this one only batting $195. She did not look at whatsoever on that swing. Gave it a ride to deep left.
And you see the replay here. And a very well-hit ball as that one went all the way to the outfield fence, as we see a bunt attempt by Emily Jansen.
And we saw Chevalier had a double in the first game against Davenport, her third extra base hit of the young season.
And now Jansen, and that one, another one that goes back to the screen. So the runner advances, and the Spartans, with no outs here in the bottom of the second, have Lexi Chevalier at third base, although a 0-2 count here to the batter, Emily Jansen. And the pitch on the way, and sends that one to a charging left field, and it drops. And so UT is going to take the lead as she's able to drop that one in there, and the Spartans get the go-ahead run. It's now 2-1 with no outs. As you see, the ball that was charged initially by the left fielder, Kennedy Crawford, but drops just in time. And so UT in a great position here, taking the lead and no outs and a runner on first. Another bunt laid down, and to first in time to retire Sam Kay. But again, another runner in scoring position as Emily Jansen goes to second.
Spartans executing. We'll continue to reiterate on that Jansen RBI single. Just have to put the ball in play. Not the best swing, not the best contact, but it found the perfect spot in no man's land, shallow left. And then the bunt delivered that time, getting the job done. Server in the
and
shallow.
That one's caught at first base. A different look there for pitcher Taylor Simon as she faced the left-handed hitting Avery Perkins. But Perkins is retired for out number two.
At bat by Simon. Needed it that time to get the second out. This is a marquee matchup right now. 2 down, 2-1 Spartans leading. They want that insurance run. Davenport can ill afford to give it up.
And Steph Ballmer follows that one over towards her own dugout. 0-1 to Ballmer with 2 outs here in the bottom of the second. Her team has taken the lead. And now the 0-1 on the way from Taylor Simon, and it's hit right back to Simon, who fields that one routinely over to first base for out number 3. But not before the Spartans get the go-ahead run on 2 hits. There were no errors and 1 runner left on base. So we are through 2 complete. The score UT 2 and Davenport 1. Back live here at the University of Tampa campus in West Central Florida, where the softball Spartans are playing host to the Davenport Panthers. I'm Bruce Wozniak, joined by Connor Moore as we get ready for the top of the 3rd inning. And some offense in this game already through 2 innings as compared to game 1, where there's 3 runs up on the board between the 2 teams combined right now. And it took until the bottom of the 6th before we saw that in the first game, which was a 3-0 Tampa victory.
And when Mariah Galehouse has gotten run support in the circle, she has not looked back. So Spartans give her a lead as we move to the third inning. Let's see if she can do what she's done all year long thus far and protect the lead. Panthers eager to get back in this one.
And the first pitch there to Kennedy Crawford. Strike one. Crawford, we saw busy in left field defensively for Davenport, and now slaps that one and fielded at third, but the throw over to first not in time. And so Kennedy Crawford on board here to start the top of the third for the Panthers.
Kennedy Crawford, speedy slap hitter in the 9 slot, doing exactly what you expect. Makes contact, high chopper. By the time it came down and was fielded by Phillips, she was already on first with the infield single.
And now Celine Pauly showing bunt, and that one rolls back. Foul. Pauly 0 for 3 in game 1 and 0 for 1 so far in this game with a ground out to third back in the first inning. And now the 0-1 showing bunt again, and another one that goes foul. And obviously Crawford, the base runner, was off to the races.
And I like what Amber Bowman is doing here. I think Mariah Galehouse is too dominant and too overpowering in the circle right now to try to swing away and hit bombs. I think you need to play small ball. That's what they're trying to do, is that one is fouled off.
So staying alive, Celine Pauly.
And this is a good Panther lineup. It's just Galehouse has been unstoppable thus far, averaging just 1 earned run per
The 0-2 up high for ball 1.
A good miss that time, just a little bit high. Got the Panther leadoff hitter Pauly to think about it. Presents the counter pitch inside. Let's see if Chevalier and Galehouse go with it.
1-2. And a short over to second to first, and not in time. So they do get the lead runner, Kennedy Crawford, but safe down at first base now, Celine Pauly. And so there's one out here in the top of the third, and that'll bring up Gabby Palazzolo, who is 1 for 1. She singled to right back in the first inning and had gone 1 for 3 in the first game of this doubleheader as well. And the first offering from Galehouse this time is outside for ball 1.
Spartans got the meat of the lineup. 2-3-4. Clawberg, Minor, Galehouse due up in the bottom of the inning.
And that one's fouled behind the Tampa dugout.
Should mention, Bruce, we see Sam Kay warming up in the Spartan bullpen. Makes you wonder about how much longer of an outing Galehouse maybe has.
And that one is struck in between left and center. It's going to go all the way to the wall. And the Panthers are going to get at least 1 run here as they hold the runner at third, but they tie the game as crossing the plate was Celine Pauly. And the game all tied at 2, courtesy of an RBI triple there. And a nice play by Gabby Palazzolo.
Yeah, Palazzolo was 1 for 3 in the first game, quickly 2 for 2, having her way at Namoli in just her first career day here, going gap to gap.
So 2-2 in the top of the third with 1 out. And the batter now, Alexa Flores. And Flores looking out of the corner of her eye and seeing teammate Gabby Palazzolo over at third. And the pitch from Galehouse. And that's going to be strike 1. 0-2 make that. The clarification from home plate umpire Steve Haney as that one outside for a ball. So Flores, who in game 1 was 2 for 3, 0 for 1 so far in this game, and follows that one here on the third base side. Flores with the confident nod towards her coach down at third. The 1-2 pitch coming from Galhouse and gets the strikeout. And down goes Alexa Flores as out number 2.
She gone. Hits the target. Chevalier receives it to perfection for the second out. And Galehouse, runner still looming at third. Palazello presenting a problem. Panthers looking to take the lead.
Rachel Griffin, the batter, fouls off the first pitch. She had an RBI single back in the first inning.
So if you're Leslie Cantor, Bruce, what are you thinking in terms of Galehouse and the pitch count moving forward with Sam Kay getting ready?
Here's the 0-1, and that one is flied to right field, and there to make the catch for out number 3. Down go the Panthers, but not before they tie the game. They get a run, a hit, no UT errors, and one runner left on base. So we'll go to the bottom of the third with our score now tied 2-2 on TampaSpartans.tv.
Freak alert, Jalen. Not like a slips into baby talk when he's feeling insecure kind of freak. Not even a whittle bit. Jalen's a freak about hand-slicing all natural meats for every Jimmy John sandwich he makes. Look at his unfettered joy. And not just for ham. You should see him with Capicola. Thank you, Jalen. Your meat freakiness means better sandwiches for all. Freaky fresh, freaky fast, Jimmy John's, freak yeah.
Back here at the Namoli Family Stadium, an exciting game here as the Davenport Panthers, who had taken a 1-0 lead and then fell behind 2-1, have tied the game in the top of the third, and they have 5 hits already through just 3 innings, and that's more than they had the entire game in the first game of this doubleheader when they finished with just 4.
Makes you wonder if Sam Kay perhaps will be going out for the 4th inning. Galehouse got out of the jam, though, limited the damage. Spartans trying to retake the lead.
And the first pitch of the bottom of the third is fouled back by Christina Clawberg. Clawberg sacrifice back in the first inning. And the next pitch to her bobbled.
She was 1 for 3 in the first game. Had a ribby, one of the 3 runs batted in for Tampa. Solidified herself as the second baseman, number 2 hitter for the Spartans.
There's the 1-1 chopped foul. And the lights, as you can see, fully on here in the stadium. And the 1-2 on the way, and over to short, and fielded nicely this time and over for the out. Brianna Allen over at shortstop, who's been involved in a number of plays defensively, gets the assist there. So 1 out for UT in the bottom of the third.
Reigning SSC player, the weak Corinne Miner, takes inside.
She's 0 for 1 in this game. Ground out to short back in the first inning. And now the 1-0. 2 balls, no strikes. Corinne Miner, 10 strikeouts in a complete game victory in game 1. And shoots that one deep to center field and caught by Celine Pauly for out number 2. A well-struck ball by Corinne Miner.
Yeah, got under it slightly. Pitched to hit. Simon got away with one there. 2 up, 2 down.
The pitcher Galhouse up to bat for the home team here. And strike 1 to Mariah. And now the 0-1 on the way. And that's a ball. And in case you're wondering, so far to this point in the circle, Galhouse has thrown 43 pitches. And that one to her is ball 2.
Kay has stopped throwing pitches in the Spartan bullpen appears to be ready if need be.
2-1 to Galhouse, and right back at the pitcher. And a nice grab there by Taylor Simon for the third out. So
She did not flinch.
Spartans are retired quickly in the bottom of the third to get no runs and no hits. There were no Davenport errors and no Spartans left on base. We'll go to the top of the fourth with the score tied 2-2.
Whoever said that less is more or less mathematically challenged. Less isn't more, it's less. And the only thing more than more is a lot more, which is exactly what I get at Embassy Suites. More space. More downtime. More family time. More me time. More me time. More me time. Because the more I have, the more I have to have more.
More room, complimentary drinks, free breakfast. Embassy Suites Hotels.
Back alive here at the Namoli Family Stadium. Tampa and Davenport. We've got ourselves a game here in the second of this doubleheader, a 2-2 score after 3 innings, and the Panthers out hitting the Spartans 5-2 thus far. Mariah Galhouse continues in the pitching circle for UT, as leading things off for Davenport in the top of the fourth will be the catcher, Alexis Koza.
Alexis Koza, a former Wyoming Cowboy Division I player.
And the first pitch to her is chop foul down the third base line.
We're having fun. Connor Moy, Bruce Wozniak on TampaSpartans.tv. Thanks for tuning in, ladies and gentlemen. And Bruce, this game seems to be one of those where the team that makes the fewer mistakes will win, because talent for talent, player by player, these two teams match up well.
And that's going to be strike 2. And the Davenport fans who are watching don't like hearing that, knowing that their team has already committed 2 errors in the first 3 innings of this game. Here's the 0-2, and Koza is safe. And shaking her head in disagreement over at first base, Emily Jansen.
Bang, bang play. And you said, I mean, if the Panthers do not commit those 2 errors, we're likely looking at a 2-0 Davenport lead. And Spartans make one of their few miscues thus far. Strikeout, but leadoff runner gets on. In at the corners are Phillips and Jansen.
And now Galhouse ready and showing bunt. Brianna Allen, 0-1. Allen with a sacrifice back in the second, and she bats here in the top of the fourth. The 0-1 on the way, another bunt, and it's in play, and they opt to go to Allen for the out at first, as Chevalier threw it to Emily Jansen for the putout, but of course, in the process, the runner Koza goes to second. So 1 out now in the top of the fourth. And coming to the plate, the right fielder, Jordan Urban. She struck out looking back in the second. And the pitch is right back at Galhouse and doesn't go anywhere yet. And now they throw to second and say that Koza is safe.
This bang bang play over there at second base.
And we'll get a replay here as the Panthers now with runners on first and second.
And Ralph Rodriguez had a great look. I believe Koza just evaded the tag that time because the throw beat her, but the nifty slide to get back into second base.
Swing and a miss there by O'Mara. Of course, at the same time, Galhouse will probably second guess herself and say, should I have thrown it a split second sooner?
Or perhaps maybe just throw it to first originally when she fielded it. It's tough, though, when you look up and see a runner like Koza, who's hovering in the middle of no man's land between second and third. You want to get that lead runner. But with one down, it's an instant play, and I don't fault Gail House for making the read she did. It was a play that could have easily been the second out.
And that one's fouled back to the screen. So Haley O'Mara behind here, 0-2. And the pitch on the way and sent to right center field and caught for the out.
Avery Perkins, who was a defensive replacement, seeing some action. How about that job by Gail House? She made a little bit of a mistake there to allow the two runners on, but she battles back, wins that at-bat, and now finds herself one pitch away from getting out of this fourth inning.
Facing Kennedy Crawford, who singled in the third inning and does get the strike with two outs here in the top of the fourth. Score tied 2-2, runners on first and second for Davenport. And the next pitch is outside for ball one.
Crawford, a slap hitter. Defense knows she doesn't have the pop, so they step in a little bit, as does the outfield.
Crawford 0 for 2 in game one. A little bit of starts with an open stance, and that one's up high for ball two. You see she starts with an open stance and then closes herself up. And there it is. And she swings and misses for strike two. So Galhouse close to getting herself out of a jam here.
It'll be the 56th pitch of her outing on its way.
2-2, and it's up high for ball three. So the count is full now here against Kennedy Crawford. And the Spartans trying to get out of this top of the fourth inning with the score tied at 2. Payoff pitch on the way, and that's going to go right to short and over the third for out number 3. So UT able to avoid a threat there by Davenport in the top of the fourth inning. And so no runs, no hits, no Spartan errors, and
it's not about any one thing. It's about how everything comes together, how it all connects. People, ideas, resources, community, everything. Quality of life services. That's what we do. Sodexo.
Back here at the Nimoli Family Stadium and completing her warm-up pitches, Taylor Simon, although we might be seeing a change at the catcher position here. No, it was Koza who was taking a breather in the Davenport dugout and goes back behind the plate. And they have their huddle in the pitching circle as Bailey Phillips strolls to the plate for the Spartans as the leadoff hitter of this fourth inning. She's the number 5 hitter in the Spartans batting order. 0 for 1 in this game, flew out to center field in the first.
She was 1 for 3 in the first game today. She's been busy over at third base defensively.
And the first pitch to her is a ball. Bailey Phillips awaiting the delivery from Taylor Simon. It's in, and it's ball 2.
Sunset here in the west central Florida. 72 degrees, 8-mile-an-hour winds from the southwest.
And how about Bailey Phillips? 0 for 1 in this game. And looking for something here against Taylor Simon.
Takes one off the kneecap, so taking one for the team, gets on first.
So the Spartans get a runner here in the bottom of the 4th. And that'll bring up Lexi Chevalier. Chevalier 1 for 1, had that double back in the 2nd. And showing bunt as Bailey Phillips gets back over to first.
Monumental run over at first base, and Phillips of the Spartans are able to get her home, find themselves 9 outs away from winning both games against the Panthers. We did see Sam Kay warming up. She would be available to close it out.
And the 0-1 showing bunt again, and it stays fair. And they do get the out at first, so a sacrifice as Phillips goes over to second. And viewers, I got to say, how about that beautiful sky that you see out on the left of your screen, up over the left field fence. Great evening here in West Central Florida. Nice night for softball.
Especially late February if you're in Grand Rapids, Michigan. I'm sure a little bit different when you look outside your window. Cannot complain here. Got ourselves E.J. Jansen stepping to the dish.
And the home plate umpire, Steve Haney, over talking to the Davenport dugout.
I believe we have Mackenzie Allen pinch running at second base. Spartan specialist base runner.
And the pitch there to Emily Jansen, 1-0.
Anything through the infield, Allen runs extremely well.
It's the 1-0. And strike one. Koza framing that one just convincingly enough for home plate umpire Steve Haney. The 1-1 on the way, swing on and miss, and down at second, back just in time, is the pinch runner Mackenzie Allen. But the count goes to 1-2 against Jansen. And there's a fly ball to left field, and it's going to drop safely. And so they hold the runner Mackenzie Allen at second, but Emily Jansen is aboard.
Yeah, Leslie Cantor not happy over there at third base. She was able to tell that Crawford wasn't going to get to it. Allen, on the other hand, was uncertain at the time, and when it fell, it was too close to second to try to advance to third. It would have been a bang-bang play at third. But how about E.J. Jansen now? 2 for 2 in the game. She was 2 for 3 in the first game, starting to find her stride at the plate after struggling a little bit in the beginning of the year.
And you called her name from a bullpen perspective, but now we're seeing Sam Kay up to bat for the Spartans as she takes ball one.
And go figure, right? We got the pitcher of the week, Corinne Miner, also playing center field. Kay, she can do it with her arm, can also do it swinging the bat.
And smacks that one foul down the first base side. So UT with just one out here, hoping to convert at least one of these base runners. Mackenzie Allen in particular in scoring position. And here's the 2-1 to Sam Kay. And ball 3. So anxious moments here for pitcher Taylor Simon. And she does get strike 2.
You know, right now with this payoff pitch coming 1 out, I might do the hit and run here with the double steal, Jansen and Allen.
Here it is, and finds the gap and out to center field, and crossing the plate and scoring will be Mackenzie Allen. And so an RBI single from Sam Kay, and the Spartans regain the lead 3-2.
Outstanding secondary base running by Jansen. Have the awareness, crossing around second base to see the throw is coming home. There was no play at third, able to advance. We got runners on the corners for Avery Perkins.
Perkins 0 for 1 in this game and lays down a bunt. And how about that?
Infield single.
Wow. Taylor Simon, a little undecided, and the hesitancy cost her as the Spartans load the bases.
Some small ball on display from the Spartans. Panthers confused, meeting in the circle. And let's see right now, top of the lineup, Steph Ballmer coming to the plate. This could be that breakout inning that Tampa's looking for here in the fourth.
Ballmer reached on an error back in the first inning. And then a ground out to the pitcher in the second. And we're going to see a pinch runner here as Anissa Grant is going to replace Sam Kay on second base. And as Connor mentioned, the number one hitter in the Spartans batting order, Steph Ballmer, ready to step into the batter's box here against Taylor Simon. And the Spartans have regained the lead. They fell behind 1-0 with the Panthers scoring in the top half of the first before UT returned the favor in their bottom half of the inning. UT went up 2-1 in the bottom of the second, and that one is smacked foul. Top of the third, Davenport tied it at 2. And now here we are in the bottom of the fourth, where UT has just scored to grab the 3-2 lead. And it's an 0-1 count here against shortstop Stephanie Ballmer. And that one is smacked to right field and charging and making the catch. The throw comes home and cut off. And so the Spartans able to get a run as the first base player, Rachel Griffin, cut it off, and in position waiting for it was Koza behind the plate, but never got the opportunity.
Yeah, throw would have beaten her, and hey, why not? If you're Jansen over at third base, nothing to lose there. Let's see if the right fielder Irby can make a throw. She did, but hey, the play has to follow through, and it did not. Griffin cuts it off.
As you saw in the replay there, Griffin turned and looked home, and I think decided on her own that the throw wouldn't have been in time and opted to let the run score. And so now it's a 4-2 UT lead. 2 outs in the bottom of the fourth and runners on the corners. And the batter, Christina Clawberg, 1-1 count against her. And shoots that one into the gap to left center field. And another run scores for the Spartans. They're waving another runner around. And how about that? A 2 RBI double for Christina Clawberg. And a big fourth inning here for the Spartans as their lead swells to 6-2.
Spartans applying pressure on the base paths, flying around. You see it on the replay. And they give themselves some breathing room here. 6-2 the lead. And
well played ball.
Coach Bowman having a meeting on the circle.
Found that gap in left center. And indeed, Amber Bowman has watched this deteriorate as there are 2 outs, but the Spartans have broken open the scoring with 4 runs here, and their number 3 hitter, Corinne Miner, stepping to the plate, and she has shown what she can do offensively as she follows that one back to the screen. So on top of it all, UT still with another runner in scoring position as it's Clawberg on second base. And now the 0-1 to Miner. Swings, and that's a base hit to center field. And they'll wave the runner around. And here comes Clawberg. She scores, and it's 7-2. So Corinne Miner with an RBI single, driving in Christina Clawberg. And this half inning has just been the UT offense showing fireworks.
Yeah, we spoke about it in the top of the inning as we see the replay. Level swing by Miner. guides that one in a straightaway center field. Good hitting, and the hitting parade unleashing is that one hit up the middle. This should retire the side. It does, but not before the Spartans strike for 5. We played 4 clean, 7-2 Tampa in front of Davenport. You're listening on TampaSpartans.tv.
At DoubleTree by Hilton, we believe in nice. Not your okay, fine, just being polite kind of nice, but a genuine nice. The kind that's contagious, that you can't help but take with you. The kind of nice you want to share with others. But don't take our word for it. Come for a stay and help us prove nice travels. Book at DoubleTree.com.
I think we got
If you're a Tampa Spartans softball fan, a great night unfolding here after the team takes the first game of the doubleheader by a score of 3-0, and big there in the bottom of the 4th, 5 runs to break this one open. It's 7-2. They lead the Davenport Panthers as we head into the top of the 5th inning. And what looked like it was going to be a close game, we stood at 2-2 after 2.5 innings. And the home team really breaking things open there in the bottom of the 4th as we get ready here for the top of the 5th. And yes, in case there was any question, Mariah Galhouse continues in the circle for UT.
Yeah, only update to let everybody know, Bailey Phillips does re-enter at 3rd. Other than that, same look for the Spartans. They're 9 outs away from defeating the Panthers twice today.
And for Davenport, they go back around to the top of the order. Celine Pauly, who is 0 for 2 in this game, and 0 for 5 combined when you factor in game 1 of this doubleheader. As you see, ball 1 there. And so uphill battle now for Davenport, playing on the road against an unfamiliar opponent. As you see it chopped down to short and over to first for out number 1. I mentioned in the broadcast of the first game that this is a matchup of 2 teams who had only played each other twice ever before, once in February of 2010 and then in 2014. And so they were 1-1 against each other lifetime, coming into 2 games in a matter of hours against each other after 2 games in a matter of years. And so Davenport in uncharted territory here in West Central Florida, and on the wrong end of what is currently a 7-2 score. As you see the count go to 2-0 here against Gabby Palazzolo.
Spartans have had trouble getting Palazzolo out. Been on base pretty much every time she's up, and hits one through the middle again. And that one
glances off the foot of Avery Perkins. And so you're right, Palazzolo will reach base again for Davenport.
She's got 3 hits. The remaining hitters for the Panthers, just 3 hits combined. That makes up the 6 for Davenport. Let's see if they can do something here. Runner at first, in at the corners are the Spartans.
And Alexa Flores sends a shot to center field. And so Flores in standing up at first base. And that'll move Palazzolo over to second. And this all coming with just 1 out in the top of the 5th. And brings to the plate Rachel Griffin, who is 1 for 2 in this game. She had an RBI single in the 1st and flew out to right field in the 3rd. And now the first pitch to her here in the 5th inning is going to be ball 1.
Galehouse and the Spartans looking for that hard hit grounder to an infielder, possibility to turn the double play.
Next pitch from Galehouse, quickly and chopped foul down the third base line, and Galehouse wasting no time sending that one in, and maybe trying to catch Rachel Griffin. Not entirely set, if nothing else, mentally. Here's the 1-1 outside for ball 2.
Well, like you said, Bruce, is a part of the art of pitching, the quick pitch. Perfectly legal, depends when you want to use it, but you can catch the batter off balance.
And now the 2-1, and finds a gap between shortstop and third base. And the Panthers with the bases loaded and only one out here in the top of the 5th.
And why not? You give up 5 runs the inning before. Now you come to bat, look to replicate that. That's exactly what Davenport's doing.
So Alexis Koza, the batter, goes over to have a word with her coach as Leslie Cantor for UT is going to make a change.
Got the sophomore Jody Handler taking over in the circle. And she'll replace Emily Profit after all of this movement.
And Mariah Galhouse moves to the outfield. And so the pitching change comes with 1 out in the top of the 5th. And the Spartans leading 7-2. But the visitors having runners on first, second, and third. Griffin, Flores, and Palazzolo respectively. So Jody Handler, the reliever now, and Handler thus far this season in the 2019-2020 campaign getting a chance here against, as I've said, an unfamiliar opponent. She's only pitched 8 innings thus far. She was the pitcher of record in one of the Spartans' defeats. She does have a save, has struck out 5 and walked 4.
Collected that save at Ursuline and then lost at Flagler. The 5 strikeouts, appeared in 3 games. Bruce enters in a difficult situation. Bases loaded, 1 down. But most importantly, you have to throw strikes here. If you get behind in the count, only asking for trouble.
Oh, Alexis Koza, first batter that she will face. And it's outside for ball 1. 3.50 earned run average for Handler. And now Lexi Chevalier, the catcher, asks for time and goes out to talk to Handler. Handler, a local product, played at Alonzo High School before moving on to Georgia Southern. And now Chevalier back behind the plate. And here comes the 1-0. It's way up high for ball 2. The bases are loaded with Panthers. Trying to come back from that big bottom of the 4th by UT when the home team put up 5 runs. And now Spartans in danger here as Handler, her first 3 pitches have all gone for a ball. And let's see if Alexis Koza swings. She does not, but it is a strike. So 3-1.
You get that borderline 3-0 pitch, anything close usually goes the pitcher's way.
And here comes Handler with the 3-1. And strike 2 called, and you could see that clearly Alexis Koza thought that was ball 4.
Well, those were 2 at the letters, and usually we don't see the letters called a strike, but Steve Haney says yes, indeed.
Now the 3-2 up high, that is ball 4. And so she walks in a run as Palazzolo crosses the plate for Davenport. And the score now 7-3. The bases remain loaded and still just 1 out. So Handler thought that things were starting to break her way with the 2 pitches that were called strikes, and then ends up issuing the base on balls to Koza. And the first pitch here, deep to center field, and the catch made, and Davenport will send another run across the plate as scoring is Alexa Flores.
Not the worst thing for the Spartans. Outs more important than the runs. Still find themselves up by 3 and 7 outs away from the win. Handler, hopefully settled down after that pitch, can battle with an important hitter. It's Urban.
So Brianna Allen gets the sacrifice fly. 2 outs, and the score now 7-4 as Jordan Urban ahead here early, 1-0 against Jody Handler, sophomore pitcher for UT. And her pitch on the way and popped up and called for and caught over there by Emily Jansen for out number 3, but not before Davenport makes a dent. 2 runs on 3 hits, no Spartan errors, 2 runners left on base. We will go to the bottom of the 5th with our score now Tampa 7 and Davenport 4.
First of all, very flattered that everybody would come. Thank you very much. Does anybody have any questions before we move on?
You remember the girl wearing the Go Phil shirt following you around?
Yeah.
It's me.
I
It's
do.
been me on several occasions.
I started papering my cubicle with pictures of you.
Do you have a picture of this, Ryan? I mean, I'd love to see it.
I've got a mental picture of it, and
I do
it's
too.
pretty weird.
Yeah, a little bit.
I believe that I have a happy marriage because of you, because sometimes I do a little substitution, you know, just mentally.
Whoa.
But
Anyway, Mike, let's...
And back live here at the Namoli Family Stadium, where we have a pitching change for the visitors, as it will be Emma Miller taking over in the circle. She comes in with a 7.56 earned run average, a 0-1 one-loss record. And she's pitched 8 1/3 innings so far this season. So the Spartans, as they will send up the third base player, Bailey Phillips, to start things off here. The 5, 6, and 7 hitters in the Spartan lineup. They'll be doing so against a face that they've not seen yet. And again, not to beat the dead horse, but an unfamiliar opponent. So perhaps the move being made by head coach Amber Bowman more to give the Spartans someone in the circle that they've not seen before, as opposed to any kind of statement against the starting pitcher Taylor Simon, now that her team has crawled back within 3 runs.
Absolutely. That third time around the lineup, hitters have more success. Go to the bullpen.
And the first pitch of the bottom of the 5th inning to Bailey Phillips is strike 1.
Taylor Simon's outing concludes 4 innings pitched, 7 runs, 6 earned. She hit a batter, didn't walk any, also did not strike anybody out across 64 pitches.
And not to mention that in switching to Emma Miller, they're now facing a left-handed pitcher. Emma Miller, by the way, from Mount Dora, a little ways up the road.
I think it speaks volumes. Bottom 5 Spartans have not struck out yet. About that plate discipline, they have not been in too many 2-strike counts, and when they have been, putting the ball in play.
And now here comes the 1-1 to Phillips, way up high for ball 2. Phillips flew out to center field in the first inning and then was hit by a pitch in the 4th. And the 2-1 on the way, and chops that right back to Miller, and over to first to Rachel Griffin for out number 1. So Lexi Chevalier comes up to hit for UT. She doubled back in the 2nd inning, and then sacrifice in the 4th. Here she is in the bottom of the 5th. And her team leading 7-4 with 1 out. And you saw the first pitch to her for a ball against the left-handed sophomore Emma Miller, and sends that one foul just beyond the Davenport dugout.
Jody Handler continuing to throw in the Spartan pen. Expect to see her for the final 6 outs. Already has 1 save on the year.
And that one's popped up out of play. In case you just joined us, Handler took over in this game from the starter Mariah Galhouse. And for Davenport, their starter was Taylor Simon and has now been replaced by Emma Miller. So we saw, and there's a fly ball, and ranging in from right field and making the catch is Jordan Urban. In the first game, we saw 2 pitchers through complete games, and now we're in the 5th inning, and we've already seen 2 pitchers for each team. As Emily Jansen strolls to the plate for the Spartans, she's 2 for 2 in this game, a pair of singles and an RBI. And strike 1 to Jansen.
4 for 5 on the day. Jansen seeing the ball well, finding the gaps.
And she's out. You heard them yelling, get her, get her. And they got her. And so the Spartans, just like that, are done. In the bottom of the 5th, we are through 5 complete. And the Spartans in the lead, 7-4.
At Jimmy John's, we're freaks about best-in-class ingredients. So it's no wonder we announced our new 9-grain wheat sub in the middle of a wheat field. When you've got news this big, it's not enough to just add it to the menu. Where's the freak yeah in that? To celebrate a new sandwich with a taste so inspired, we introduced it in the place that inspired it. The new Jimmy John's 9-grain wheat sub, now available at a Jimmy John's, much, much, much closer to you. Wheat yeah, freak yeah.
Back here at the Namoli Family Stadium, where the Spartans have defeated the Davenport Panthers already tonight, 3-0 in game 1, and we're in the second game of the doubleheader, and 3 is the margin again for the home team, although this time 7-4 at the present moment. As you see out in the pitching circle, Jody Handler finishing up her warm-up pitches, throwing to her catcher Lexi Chevalier, and studying the motion is Haley O'Mara for Davenport, who will lead things off here in the top of the 6th. She's the number 8 hitter for them and is 0 for 2 so far in this game. And she did not register an official at-bat in game 1.
Spartans' recipe for success, 6 outs away. If Handler is able to throw strikes early, should not have too much of a problem. However, we saw her begin her relief appearance last inning. Struggled in the beginning to find the strike zone. First one in there for a strike, looking good.
O'Mara, the third base player, takes the 0-1 and fouls it back. And so quickly, Jody Handler ahead on this first batter of the top of the 6th inning. And that one is hit to left field and not caught. Galhouse bobbles it, and so ending up at second base.
Yeah, that'll go down as an E7, indeed, off the top of the glove. And let's see if the Panthers can capitalize. I mean, for all intents and purposes, likely the first out if that catch is made, but it wasn't, so you get the leadoff runner on. Can you take advantage late in this game?
Davenport trying to stop a 3-game losing streak. They started off the season victorious and have dropped 3 straight, which includes the first game of this doubleheader. Trail here 7-4 in the top of the 6th. And over to second. And O'Mara, dare I say, lucky to get back in time, seemed to be lollygagging a bit. And now the 2-0. It's outside for ball 3. So Kennedy Crawford, the number 9 hitter who's 1 for 2 in this game, with a big opportunity here. And Handler delivers a 3-0 and gets the call.
Spartans in the midst of such a crucial homestand right now, taking on the Tritons of Eckerd this weekend, and then Wilmington a week from tomorrow. Would love to win today. Conclude what has been an important performance is a walk to Crawford. Will flip it back to the top of the lineup. And just how big of an error that was by Galehouse to start
we will see as the first two Panthers on in the top of the 6th.
And you see the catcher, Lexi Chevalier, out there talking to her pitcher, Jody Handler, as Davenport now has Kennedy Crawford at first base and Haley O'Mara standing on second, and this all coming with no outs in the top of the 6th, and a 7-4 Spartan lead, which means that the batter now, Celine Pauly, represents the tying run, and you see the first pitch to her for a ball. Handler ready. 1-0 on the way. Swung on and missed. 1-1. Beautiful night for softball as the fans have stuck around for both games of this doubleheader. As you see one shot down to short and over to second. And we'll take a look at a replay on that one. That was a very close call at second, and the bases are now loaded with Panthers, meaning that we'll get the go-ahead run coming to the plate as the umpire on the spot was Ralph Rodriguez and ruled Kennedy Crawford safe at second base.
And how about the fact that Steph Ballmer is okay? That was a hot shot. Looked like it hit her in the mouth, but took it like a pro. Was in there, made a throw to second. Looked like she was out. Mr. Rodriguez, Ralph Rodriguez on the spot. Johnny on the spot with the safe call. He had an outstanding angle. Everybody's safe. Bases loaded. And the go-ahead run at the plate.
And keep in mind, there are no outs here in the top of the 6th. And it underscores the importance of those two runs that Davenport was able to put up in the top of the 5th. As you see one that's chopped to second, over to first in time. The batter is retired, but a run scores. And so Davenport chipping away here at this lead, and they reduce the margin to 2 as the score now goes to 7-5. Runners still in scoring position, runners plural, as you have Crawford and that was ball 1 to the batter Alexa Flores. You have Crawford at third and Pauly at second. And just one out. And now Handler deals, and it's going to be a ball.
Flores finds herself in a position, base hit likely ties the game at 7. Prime spot against the Spartan reliever.
And gets the strike. 2-1 against Flores, who is 1 for 3. She singled in her last time at bat, that being in the last inning. And a nice stop there defensively by Lexi Chevalier as the count goes to 3-1. So high drama here at UT, where the Spartans' 7-5 lead is in jeopardy. And Flores draws the walk to load the bases. And now Leslie Cantor is going to come out, and we're going to get a change.
We'll see the SSC Pitcher of the Week back in action, Corinne Miner, with this call to the bullpen presented by Team One Sports. We'll be back right after this.
This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa.
Back live with you here at the Namoli Family Stadium, where we are in a pitching change as the Spartans started the game with Mariah Galhouse, and then went to Jody Handler. And now Corinne Miner, who threw the entire first game, a complete game victory in which she threw 110 pitches. She's going to come on in relief here as there's only one out in the top of the sixth and the bases are loaded for Davenport. And so Spartans coach Leslie Cantor trying to go for her ace to settle things down here and try to get the home team out of a jam.
We'll see Emily Profit back in at left. She'll move into the flex spot. Bases loaded, one down. Spartans clinging to a 7-5 lead. Panthers on the verge, knocking on the door.
And batting for Davenport will be the first base player, Rachel Griffin. Griffin is 2 for 3 in this game. RBI single in the first, singled again in the fifth, and those were sandwiched around a fly out to right field in the third. And you see the first pitch there for a strike. And so Corinne Miner returns to the circle, and her 0-1 on the way, and that one's smack foul down the third base line. And so Miner ahead now, count at 0-2. Rachel Griffin in game one against Corinne Miner was 0 for 2. She struck out twice. And now here she is in the top of the sixth of game two. The 0-2, and that's outside for a ball.
Chevalier wanted that, held it a split second longer, presented it to home plate umpire Steve Haney, to no avail.
Miner with the signal from Chevalier, pitch on the way, swing and a miss, and down goes Griffin as out number 2, and that's a huge out for UT.
She gone, chases the eye-level fastball. Corinne Miner is back in action, in relief this time, looking to send the Panthers home empty.
So the catcher Alexis Koza follows the first pitch from Corinne Miner back to the screen. And Koza in game one against Miner was 1 for 3. She did strike out once. And so far in this game, Koza is 1 for 2. She singled in the second, struck out in the fourth, and walked in the last inning. Count 1-1 here with 2 out. The top of the sixth, 7-5, UT in the lead. And Corinne Miner looking to get out of this jam. And her pitch is swung on, popped up, and caught over at first base by Emily Jansen. So the Spartans get out of the inning with their lead reduced by 1. It's now a 7-5 score. You're watching on TampaSpartans.tv.
We're more than just $7.99 large 2-topping pizza delivered.
Hey, B, is this it?
We're an end zone dance at your doorstep. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Almost set to start the bottom of the sixth inning here, which the Spartans, of course, hope will be their last at-bat of the game. They lead it by 7-5. And facing pitcher Emma Miller, who we saw come on to start the last inning. And leading things off for the Spartans here in the bottom of the sixth is Sam Kay. And the first pitch to Kay is ball 1. Kay is 1 for 1 in this game. Next pitch to her is low for a ball.
On the day, Spartans 7 for 20, batting .350. And they've looked good at the dish, forcing several lengthy at-bats.
Here's the 2-0, and that's outside the other way. Ball 3. So Sam Kay, the number 8 hitter, starting things off here in the bottom of the 6th, and draws the leadoff walk.
Southpaw v. Southpaw, Miller and Kay, and Kay wins it easy. 4 pitches outside the zone.
And that'll bring up Avery Perkins, a freshman from down in Fort Myers, 1 for 2 in this game, including a single, as she shows bunt there.
Spartans fortunate that was foul because a heads-up play by Koza almost got the lead runner Kay, who was not probably going to make second base. So she was hung up to dry, fouled off. At bat continues.
And Perkins shows bunt again, and that one is also foul.
With 2 strikes, Bruce, Leslie Cantor probably not having Perkins bunt again, you would think? Maybe?
Gotta believe so.
We've seen Joe Urso of the Spartans baseball team bunt with 2 strikes. It pays off when it works. When it doesn't, sometimes not the same.
Expect the unexpected, they say. Here's the 0-2, and a slapper. That one's foul.
Well, the optimist would say to swing the bat, and I like that idea. Good cut that time by Perkins, right on it. A little early, making Miller work.
So young Avery Perkins working here in the bottom of the 6th. The 0-2 on the way to her, and stays alive with another foul ball.
Perkins doing her best job to stay alive, just poking at those pitches that she doesn't like but are too close to take. Hope to continue this at bat. Maybe Miller makes a mistake over the heart of the plate.
And that one's up high. And so now the count goes to 1-2.
It'll be Allen, Urban, O'Mara, last licks for the Panthers in the top of the 7th against Minor.
Emma Miller, the 1-2. And that one's in the dirt. Emma Miller really having to work overtime here during this prolonged at-bat by Avery Perkins. Unofficially a 6-pitch at-bat. And there's a slapper, and they field it in time. No, safe. They did not field it in time. So credit Perkins for the speed to get down there and beat out the throw. And so UT not only gets their first 2 batters of the inning on base, but they circle back around to the top of the order as Steph Ballmer will come to the plate with no outs and runners on first and second. Her team up 7-5 here in the bottom of the 6th. Lays down a bunt and fielded and thrown over to first in time. But runners now in scoring position for UT as Kay goes over to third and Perkins on second base. And this all coming with just 1 out now. And Christina Clawberg, who is 1 for 2 in this game, steps into the batter's box to face Emma Miller.
2 runners sitting in scoring position, Perkins and Kay. Spartans on the verge. There it is.
To left field and not able to be played. And both runs will score as turning the corner around second and going to third and in standing up will be Christina Clawberg. Drives in 2 runs. And the Spartans with a lot of breathing room after Kay and Perkins cross the plate, and the score now goes to 9-5.
It would have been an acrobatic catch by Crawford and left. She had to do a complete 360, and by the time she spun around, the ball sailed over her head. Clawberg got all of it, brings home 2. Spartans in cruise control.
And now Corinne Minor with a single to center field and that'll score another run. And so Clawberg crosses the plate, and the Spartans hit double digits as the score goes to 10-5 in favor of the home team.
I mean, how this game changed drastically. You had Handler in the circle. It was the top of the inning, and Davenport felt like they were there. Minor comes in, slows them down, gets the job done for the Spartans. They come to bat. Already 3 across. Still not done yet with only 1 down.
And now the 1-0. And there's another shot to right center field. And the Spartans have found their hitting shoes here. And runners on the corners. And Connor, I want to back up. I mean, what more can you say about Corinne Miner? She pitches the entire first game, 7 innings. She registers 10 strikeouts, throws 110 pitches. And at the plate, Miner was 1 for 3 with an RBI. She comes into this game and, as you mentioned, gets her team out of a jam when she probably didn't expect to pitch at all. And now comes in here, and all she's done is 2 for 4 at the plate. Oh, gee, another day at the office.
I mean, it's amazing, Bruce. Alexa Russo coming to pinch hit, but I was joking with Dominic Galone a little bit earlier about the difference between player of the week and pitcher of the week, hitter of the week, I should say, because Corinne Miner is doing a little bit of everything. I mean, I am not sure what else she could be doing out there, as she is solely putting the team on her back. And it's nice to see the rest of these players build off that. And when everything's gelling, this Spartan team is dangerous. As Russo skies one into right field, should be deep enough for a sac fly. Coming on home for the 11th run, scoring easily. That time is Miner.
Of course, Corinne Miner. And Miner now in this game is 2 for 4 with 2 RBI and a run scored. And her team now leads 11-5. And so Corinne Miner has carried this team on her back. Or you might as well say both games of this doubleheader, as they've blown this game up to a 6-run lead, and 2 outs here in the bottom of the 6th inning, and still a runner on base as it's Mariah Galhouse over at first. And the batter right now for UT is Lexi Chevalier, who's 1 for 2, and here's the 0-1 to her, and whoa, that one sails way behind to the backstop, and Galhouse will move over to second.
And when evaluating this Tampa team, a capable juggernaut, you have Miner as the true ace, Galhouse providing production as that second arm as well as outfield production. We see Bowman having a conversation in the circle with Koza and Miller. And to go off that, the production from the bottom of the lineup stands out a lot, because these players are playing with confidence and they're seeing the others do what they are doing out there. It only helps. And when this Spartan team is clicking, you see games like this, 11 runs, you're going to win most of these games.
And you almost feel like head coach Amber Bowman went out there and said, you got to finish this. I've got no arms left now. She could do the same thing that Leslie Cantor did, as you see the ball hit to short and over to first for out number 3. She could say, I could bring back Ellie Mullenberg, who pitched the first game and threw, quote-unquote, only 76 pitches. But come on, finish this out, and they do. But not before. UT gets 4 runs in the bottom of the 6th, so we go to the top of the 7th, and a big Tampa lead now, 11-5.
This is the University of Tampa. Explore your dreams. Discover your talents. Get ready to invent, innovate, and be a leader. This is the University of Tampa.
Back live here at the Nemoli Family Stadium. I'm Bruce Wozniak, joined by Connor Moore, and we are getting set for the top of the 7th. And Connor, you hate to say this as a broadcaster, but what you would imagine would be the last at-bat of the game.
Yeah, I mean, in sports, I've seen some comebacks I have never foreseen to be possible, so I'm not going to speak on it, but for all likelihood, this will be the final half inning. You got Corinne Miner, reigning pitcher of the week in the SSC. She's been dominant in the circle this far this season. We have to notify you, change at the hot corner, Kaylee Clark replacing Bailey Phillips. And just looking at the duration of this game, Spartans battled all game long, and then, of course, late picking up where they left off. 5 in the 4th and 4 in the 6th stand out. And defensively, I mean, look at this. They had 2 errors, but they didn't come until that last half inning or so. So the Spartans got the job defensively, and they capitalized on the Davenport mistakes. As for the Panthers, give them some credit for traveling out to play in the non-conference, a tough, high-caliber opponent like the Tampa Spartans. They're going to be well-positioned when they enter conference play.
Yeah, I was just going to say, give some credit to Davenport, because the 5 runs that they've put up, in those moments, they were looking like, don't count us out yet. If it wasn't for that big 4-run bottom of the 6th, remember, this game would only be 7-5. But at this point, that's got to take the wind out of your sails, so much so that it forces us to say what should be the last at-bat. And we're having a change behind the plate also, as Ansley Casillas, a freshman from up in Brentwood, Tennessee, is taking over as the catcher here, catching Corinne Miner.
Like the decision. Shout out to Lexi Chevalier. We usually see her in the outfield. She was catching today, and she did a fabulous job for the arms of the Spartans in the circle.
Brianna Allen, the number 6 hitter for Davenport, leading off this top of the 7th. And Allen, an interesting game 2. She's had 3 plate appearances, none of which count as an at-bat. And now here she is against Corinne Miner, ahead in the count 2-0. And Brianna Allen in game 1 against Corinne Miner was 0 for 3. Now the 2-0 on the way is called strike 1. And while I have this opportunity, I want to remind the viewers in the West Central Florida area to come out and support the team in person. As UT, there's a ball hit in the infield and thrown over to first in time for out number 1. UT will remain home and host Eckerd this Friday at 6 p.m. And if you say, I've got plans Friday night, well, come on out Saturday afternoon on Leap Day for a doubleheader against Eckerd beginning at 1 o'clock.
Spartans 2 outs away. For TampaSpartans.tv, be sure to join Bruce and I tomorrow at noon. The women's lacrosse team will host Lindenwood. Should be an exciting game, a dandy. Be sure to join us. Lindenwood, high-caliber team. And, Bruce, we know just how good the women's and men's lacrosse team will be this year. And back to softball. How dynamic has Corinne Miner been attacking these Panther hitters? Yet another strike, working ahead 0-2. And it's going to take a lot for Davenport to come back here.
Yeah, this is Jordan Urban, the number 7 hitter, who is behind in the count here with 1 out, and her team trailing by more runs than they've already scored in this game. As you see it fouled back to the screen. And so Urban just trying to stay alive here. As you see the new catcher for UT, Ansley Casillas, looking over to her dugout, and the 0-2 on the way. And they do get the strikeout. They appeal down to the first base umpire, Ralph Rodriguez, and he says that Urban did go around. And so the last hope for the Panthers is going to be Haley O'Mara, the third base player. She's 0 for 3 in this second game. And 1-0 to her here. And swings and misses, and now a strike registered as it's 1-1. Corinne Miner trying to close things out. Deals, and that one's sent down the line. And a nice attempt made by Avery Perkins, unsuccessful, but that's a foul ball, of course, and so now 1 strike away, Corinne Miner, from wrapping things up here for the Spartans.
Spartans are on the verge of improving to 11-5. Miner sets, looks into Casillas, fires.
1-2, swing and a miss, and down she goes. Haley O'Mara strikes out to end the game. and a masterful performance by Corinne Miner in relief as UT with big 4th and 6th innings. They score 5 in the bottom of the 4th, 4 in the bottom of the 6th for a final score of 11-5. And the final line score, 5 runs, 8 hits, 2 errors for Davenport. 11 runs, 11 hits, 2 errors for the Spartans. And so don't overlook the fact that UT has now won 3 in a row. And as I mentioned, they will remain home to take on Eckerd at 6 p.m. on Friday. Unfortunately, the news not so good for Davenport as they drop their 4th straight. They will move up to Northeast Florida tomorrow to play Embry-Riddle in a doubleheader that begins at 4 p.m. But the final score here, 11-5 in favor of UT. And they send Davenport into what will be a long bus ride up to Daytona Beach. For Connor Moore, I'm Bruce Wozniak, thanking you for watching on TampaSpartans.tv. Good night.